Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be terrified. Do not be discouraged, for Yahweh your Elohim will be with you wherever you go. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for Yahweh your Elohim goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. He got up, rebuked the wind, and said to the waves, Quiet, be still. And the wind died down, and it was completely calm. He said to his disciples, Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith? He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of Elohim, He is my refuge and my fortress, my Elohim, in whom I trust. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, or the plague that destroys at midday. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. Because He loves me, says Yahweh, I will rescue him. I will protect him, for he acknowledges my name. He will call upon me, and I will answer him, and I will be with him. In trouble, I will deliver him and honor him. For this video, I really felt it necessary to start out in a positive light. This is the second video in the last 3 that has been about the subject of fear. And I really felt the first one was missing content that this one fills in. And I pray that after you watch the whole thing, that some very important details will come clear about the whole Public Enemy 19 and what this is all about. We have not been fearful of anything the world has put in front of our eyes, and the Father has been with us through all of this. Fear has not been a feeling, but discernment has been very strong. And the Father gets all the glory for giving us this discernment. We also have an update to the potential mark of the beast at the end of this video. The flu and the common cold have been cured. Isn't that amazing? We should all be dancing in the streets and shouting from the rooftops, for the infliction of both have been squashed. What a time we live in. Why is it not more people are talking about this fact? This is huge. The flu killed more people each year than Public Enemy 19 has in a year's time. I mean, the common cold, the last I heard, could not be cured. But now it seems it has. In this clip, watch past the fear propaganda in the first 40-ish seconds, and you will hear the amazing news about how the flu and the common cold are almost non-existent.
Tonight, the deadliest month yet from the coronavirus, and the fear it will only get worse with millions traveling home this weekend. The packed parties broken up by police over New Year's. ICUs at a breaking point.
We're stretched so thin, it's pretty unimaginable.
One city asking for this hospital ship to come back. Long lines to get vaccinated. Older Americans waiting overnight.
I asked the cop what's going on. He's like, we're clearing y'all out. They ran out.
Cars stretching for miles, phone lines jammed down the state that just opened up vaccinations to the general public today. Stunning numbers this flu season. Influenza rates down an incredible 98%. The common cold also way down. Will it last?
This needs to be shared so that everyone can hear the news. I have included the original broadcast in the description so that you can see that this is from their mouth, not ours. This information should be shared with everyone so that they can rejoice and 2, stop living in fear. This is so unbelievable that if I did not use what the Father has given me to figure out what is really going on, I too would have been fooled. They are mocking everyone to their faces, and no one even notices. They just keep on living their lives in fear of something that is being used to keep them in their slumber. No one is seeing that everything is being used to say it's Public Enemy 19. Of course, now I really wonder how real the flu even was. When you catch someone in a constant lie, they call that crying wolf. Eventually, they tell so many lies that they forgot what the truth even is. It is absolutely ridiculous how much fear is being spread right now. It's to the point where I had to do another video to try to show people how they are working to keep everyone in fear. This whole Public Enemy 19 is just another tactic of the evil one to secure more souls for the lake of fire. Why do I say this? It's because people have been caught off guard waiting for the Antichrist and looking in the wrong areas for the mark of the beast. Not realizing that it may come from the medical field, not understanding there are scriptures that show the truth of all of this. For the scriptures say that the nations will be deceived by pharmakia. And the Greek word for pharmakia is administration of drugs. Revelation 18:23. We need to get the word out and get people to look to our Father in heaven for comfort and stop living in fear. We need to teach people that the fearful ones are the ones that are listed to be thrown in the lake of fire first. This is stated in Revelation 21:8. But the fearful and unbelieving and abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. We really need to help people understand that to be fearful is to fall into the evil one's hands. Don't fall for it. There is nothing in this world we should fear except Yahweh himself. For if you fear the Father, you will love the Father, and the fear goes away. We are living proof of this. From the beginning, when Public Enemy 19 started in the Red Country, we watched videos of people falling in the streets, dying, people being locked in their apartments, lines of people being taken away. But the Father also showed us something else, which most people don't even consider or have forgotten or were completely unaware of. But what was going on in the Red Country before Public Enemy 19 broke out? Do you remember? Here's a little reminder. So let me ask you this. What ended all of those riots? And just like that, the riots are over. They hit the easy button, and the people went and hid in fear of Public Enemy 19. And not only did this shut down the riots, but it opened up the door for the rest of the world to enact the powers that be to take over everyone and everything. But there was something else going on during the riots. Something that was only noticed after Public Enemy 19 events started. There was a practice Public Enemy 19 session that took place with all of the different nations. This event was a pre-training or practice event in the event of a Public Enemy 19 outbreak. After seeing this, are you going to tell me that this wasn't planned?
It began in healthy-looking pigs, months, perhaps years ago. A new coronavirus spread silently within herds. Gradually, farmers started getting sick. Infected people got a respiratory illness with symptoms ranging from mild flu-like signs to severe pneumonia. The sickest required intensive care. Many died. Experts agree, unless it is quickly controlled, it could lead to a severe pandemic, an outbreak that circles the globe and affects people everywhere.
The mission of the Pandemic Emergency Board is to provide recommendations to deal with the major global challenges arising in response to an unfolding pandemic. The board is comprised of highly experienced leaders from business, public health, and civil society.
So the policy crisis in question for this board in this meeting is this: how should governments, business, and international organizations allocate and distribute pandemic antivirals and medical supplies to the people who need the most?
What we've seen work very well in the HIV field is, in fact, procurement through the Global Fund. So having a centralized mechanism, so financially able to procure on behalf of affected countries would be critical. I think the second thing is it's going to be very important that for the business sector, for manufacturers of antivirals, that we have clarity around what the need is and where the need is and who are making the decision.
That cooperation among supply chain providers or businesses that have huge supply chains can add a lot of efficiency to the whole process.
Public health agencies have issued travel advisories, while some countries have banned travel from the worst affected areas. As a result, the travel sector is taking a huge hit. Travel bookings are down 45% and many flights have been canceled. A ripple effect is racing through the service sector. Governments that rely on travel and tourism as a large part of their economies are being hit particularly hard.
How should national leaders, businesses, and international organizations balance the risk of worsening disease that would be caused by the continued movement of people around the world against the risks of profound economic consequence of travel and trade bans? So the policy question for this board now is, how should financial resources be prioritized? Are there nodes that we cannot allow to fail? What is your sense of priorities? We don't have money to pay for all of these urgent problems.
Countries are reacting in different ways as to how best to manage the overwhelming amounts of dis- and misinformation circulating over the internet. In some cases, limited internet shutdowns are being implemented to quell panic.
How much control of information should there be, and by whom? And how can false information be effectively challenged? And what if that false information is coming from companies or from governments.
The outcome of the CAPS pandemic in Event 201 was catastrophic. 65 million people died in the first 18 months. The outbreak was small at first and initially seemed controllable, but then it started spreading in densely crowded and impoverished neighborhoods of megacities. From that point on, the spread of the disease was explosive. Within 6 months, cases were occurring in nearly every country. The global economy was in a free fall. The GDP down 11%. Stock markets around the world plummeted between 20 and 40% and headed into a downward cycle of fear and low expectation. Businesses were not borrowing, banks were not lending. Everyone was just hoping to hunker down and weather the storm. Economists say the economic turmoil caused by such a pandemic will last for years, perhaps a decade. The societal impacts, the loss of faith in government, the distrust of news, and the breakdown of social cohesion could last even longer.
The full video will be in the description. If you have not seen the whole thing, you should. Compare it to where we are today, and your eyes will be opened. Don't allow them to make you fear. Don't allow the fear to take over your life. If you want to fear something, fear the Father. Embrace the Father in heaven and use this time to get to know your Creator. There is nothing that is more important than to get to know Him. It is the greatest commandment to love Him with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. Let go of the idols in your life and turn your heart to Him. He will show you the way. Anything, including fear, can overcome you and become an idol. You have to be vigilant in your faith for the Father. So, while creating this script, there was some news that came out about the witchcraft concoction and development of a microneedle patch. So far, they have just been using the old school method of delivering the witchcraft concoction. A while back, we did a video on the witchcraft concoction talking about this and showing how it could very well be the mark of the beast. Well, it's now becoming a reality. We show you this not to make you fearful, but to help you to be prepared spiritually. This was reported by the BBC, and a link to the article and the video will be in the description.
So, as part of this Circumary project funded by the Welsh government, we've been given some funding to develop what we call as the smart vaccine patches. Smart vaccine patches are patches which are made up of tiny little projections called microneedles. These microneedles will be used for delivery of vaccine, which will help in self-administering of these vaccine. And the reason we call them smart vaccine patches is because of the fact that they have the ability to then look at the response to these vaccines. So they can basically look for biomarkers which could tell how efficacious the vaccination has been. So you can take these and you can use your moderate thumb pressure and you can insert them into your forearm and stick a tape on top of it, ready to go. I think these smart vaccine patches will do a fabulous job. They would, not only just tell you about how good the vaccine, not only administer the vaccine, but also tell you how good the vaccination has been, especially for vaccination programs that you have going on all around the world. It's something which is going to be very, very useful.
Remember, this is not to make you fearful, but to prepare you for what is coming. It was only a matter of time before this was to come out to the public. And this patch will do more than just administer the witchcraft concoction. The smart patches, millimeter-long microneedles, made from polycarbonate or silicone, will penetrate the skin to administer a witchcraft concoction and held in place with a strap or tape for up to 24 hours. It will simultaneously measure a patient's inflammatory response to the witchcraft concoction by monitoring biomarkers in the skin. The device is then scanned providing a data reading that can be used to understand the efficiency of the witchcraft concoction and the body's response to it. A prototype will be developed by the end of March in hope that it can be put forward for clinical trials. It seems like we have seen this somewhere before, or something similar.
去年支付宝就推出了如影计划，简单来说就是空气投影技术和物联网技术的结合，人们不需要携带手机，只需要一层薄膜就可以直接使用支付宝，而它可以通过你的掌纹，甚至夸下海口说，在2022年之前，实体手机可能就会消失。不过对于这句话，小编是不敢苟同，而网友们对此的评论也是异常的皮。有不安全倒是可以保障，人身安全又怎么保障呢？而且这样的设备该怎么玩游戏呢？不过既然是身为 BAT 3大巨头之一的马云这样说的，还是有一定的可行性的，你们觉得呢？
本期节目到这里就结束了，我们下期见。
They are not hiding that the mark is coming. They have been pre-programming the public for quite some time and putting it out in front of them so that they will not be shocked when it is here. Predictive programming through propaganda is not a new trick. It has been used for as long as there's been a way to carry a message over the airwaves. I only pray that the Father's will be done and that more will wake up to the reality that they are living in and find the truth and search out the Father for His glory, not their own. You, whom I have taken from the ends of the earth and called from its furthest regions and said to you, You are my servant, I have chosen you and have not cast you away. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your Elohim. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Behold, all those who were incensed against you shall be ashamed and disgraced. They shall be as nothing, and those who strive with you shall perish. You shall seek them and not find them, those who contended with you. Those who war against you shall be as nothing, as a non-existent thing. For I am Yahweh your Elohim. I will hold your right hand, saying to you, Fear not, I will help you. Fear not, you worm Jacob. You men of Israel, I will help you, says Yahweh, your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. Amen.